Is the 20% rule outdated? There are not many things I hate more than people exploiting animals for their own benefit. And we always claim that we love our horses and we always put them first, but hi. Sadly, for a lot of people, it seems like that love is conditional. I've seen this a handful of times, too many now that I have to address it. So recently it was a popular trend on TikTok to share your unpopular equestrian opinions. And one of those things that every time I saw, I had to do a double take because I was very confused. And I don't think I'm misreading this opinion because they've confirmed it in the comments what they actually think. And that is the 20% rule being outdated. I'll translate that. In other words, for some equestrians, it's inconvenient for them not to be able to ride their horse if they're over that 20% weight limit. So apparently horses' weight limits have gone up and it's no longer the 20% of their body weight that they can carry. Is that really yummy? Do you need minerals or something? 20% is not the average a horse can carry. That is the maximum amount of weight a horse should ever have to carry. It doesn't matter how strong your horse is. It doesn't matter how thick their bones are, because it really comes down to the skeletal structure of the horse that carries your weight. So it doesn't matter if they are extremely fit and have lots of muscle, or if they're really fat. Their spine, their withers, their joints, their ligaments, those are what's carrying you, and that can only carry up to a certain amount of weight. Any horse at its most fittest peak in life, their limit is 20%. That does not mean any horse could or should have to always carry 20% of their weight. And that's because it's not just all about the muscle or the fat that is carrying you, it's about their bone structure, their skeletal structure, their joints, and their ligaments that are carrying you. And if you exceed that weight limit, it's not only going to damage their muscles and their cartilage, but it's also going to damage their spine and their neck and their joints and their ligaments. A lot of people say that Shetlands and ponies have thicker bones and they can carry more weight. A lot of people say Icelandics can carry more weight because they're thicker boned. And I really don't think that that's a safe thing to presume. Because even if their bones are thicker, it still comes down to their joints. And putting too much weight on a horse is not only going to damage their back, but it's going to cause issues in their neck, down to their hocks and their pasterns, and things that you would not associate with other back. Horses suffer quietly so often because there are so many ignorant people that refuse to educate themselves and don't think there's anything further than what their grandparents taught them. There are so many things that we have to consider and measure and to make sure that we're not causing our horse harm by riding them. We should not just assume that they can carry our weight just because they're fat. And 20% is the limit for a fit horse. A horse that is obese should definitely not have to carry 20% of their weight. A horse that is skinny should definitely not have to carry 20% of their weight because, well, the skinny horse is underdeveloped in the muscle area and the second horse is already dealing with more weight than they should have to. That is already hard on their joints and their skeletal structure to have to carry more weight than their body is made to carry. So it's obviously important that we need to keep our horses in shape and in good condition, especially if we're planning on asking them for 100% of what they can carry. Not to mention, if you are already on the larger side for your horse, you're going to need a saddle that fits you, and usually a larger rider needs a larger saddle. And a lot of people don't know this, but horses' backs are not designed to have large saddles. You never want your saddle's tree to surpass the 18th rib because that would cause it to sit on the lumbar vertebrae, which is very dangerous and harmful for the horse, especially if you're a larger rider. So yes, there is a such thing as being too large for your horse, not just in weight, but in size. So all of these cowboys that weigh on an average probably 180 to 200 pounds that are breaking in these thin, underdeveloped 2-year-old colts are not doing these horses any favors. And that's how we've been bringing up the next generation horses for a very long time. And that's probably why so many horses have so many issues. Doesn't matter how much you pay for the horse, they're gonna have issues. Not only are they underdeveloped in the muscle department, but their skeletal structure hasn't even fully fused yet. And it doesn't usually fully fuse until the horse is 6 years old. Plus, they're using their very large saddles that take up the horse's whole back, which is definitely surpassing that 18th rib. And obviously, they're way surpassing the 20% weight limit on these poor young horses that never stood a chance. So that's how we're bringing up the new generation for horses. Breaking them in quite literally. Is that really the way you want your 20K horse started? Not me personally. If I was raising the horse, selling it for 20K, that's not how I would want it started. If I was buying a horse for 20K, that is not the way I want it started. So some traditional methods definitely should be outdated. The 20% rule is not one of those things. And maybe I'm taking this comment out of context. Maybe these people were saying the same thing I'm saying, where the 20% rule is not a guideline to go by. It's a maximum weight amount that any horse should have to carry. But I got the feeling from a lot of these people, especially reading the comments, that that's not what they were saying. A lot of people like to give themselves excuses and to make up reasons why their situation is different. And that's because, admit it or not, their love is conditional. They will love the horse but exploit them for their own benefits whenever they need to or want to. I don't care if you're just jumping on your miniature pony for a 5-second video. That is wrong and abusive. You would not do that to your dog, and if you did, you would have so many people shutting you down immediately because that is abuse. Riding a miniature pony when you are a grown-ass adult is wrong. People always say, well, how do you think ponies get trained for kids? Then they also say, lesson ponies are always so bitchy and mean. Are we just supposed to assume that lesson ponies are just mean because they're ponies? Or maybe it's because they've been broken literally by overly large riders breaking them in. I'm so tired of people saying horses are such babies, they'll always show you when they're actually in pain. But then when they're bucking and pinning their ears and biting you, that is just a bad, bratty horse that has nothing to do with what they're feeling inside. How are they supposed to communicate that they are in pain? What else are they supposed to do? If they buck, we're going to make them submissive and obey us by forcing them into submission. I really don't get that train of thought. I really don't understand how horse people can make themselves basically believe whatever they want as long as it's convenient for them. Because if they actually believe that they were causing their horse pain, that their horse was in pain, they would have to admit that they're doing something wrong. So, no, the 20% weight limit is not outdated. If anything, we have more scientific research that proves that horses definitely should not have to always carry 20% of their weight. Horses are struggling more than ever with health issues and lameness. I think it's pretty obvious why. And it doesn't matter how much you pay for your horse, because even the most expensive horses are being trained when they're 2 years old by large cowboys that are just forcing these horses into submission and shutting them down at such a young age. And it's so sad, and I just want to see it stopped. I'm tired of people taking their trauma and forcing it on horses. We're so used to shutting down our emotions that that's what we think that horses should have to do too. We don't want to hear what you have to say, so just shove it, stuff it, shut down. And you can tell a lot about a horse person by the way they talk to other people, by the way they treat other horse people, because you know as soon as they're being rude and attacking you for no apparent reason that they probably treat the horse the same way. But my joints are starting to freeze up, so I should probably get inside. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give a big like and subscribe, because I post new videos every single Sunday. So don't forget to come back next week. You can go follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and I'll see you guys next week, Sunday. Bye!